of the postseason. We're still alive. We still have a pulse at Quick Slant. Zach Dean, Chris Boyle.
From a less exciting location than a week ago.
We had and also a very bright light next to us. My God, is this the sun we're on right now? Semifinal week of the 2018 postseason, and while the big names are out that we're usually used to seeing in here, Mainland, FBC, the Land, all gone, and gone. Father Lopez and Trinity Christian are keeping us afloat for prep football season. We'll start with Father Lopez. That's the game you're going to be at Friday night. The First Academy in Orlando.
Yep.
TFA, the First Academy. Any school that starts their name with the something, has got to be pretty good. So I think Lopez is going to have their work cut out for him here.
Yeah, TFA is a very experienced playoff team. They've been there a number of years. They're very rarely a one-and-done team in recent seasons. This is uncharted territory for Father Lopez. They have not been to the second round since 1984. Huge.
You were what, 5 then?
I was negative 4 years old at that point. It's a great win for them. They fought off a number of different things. I mean, they were up 17-0 in that game, Lopez. Then they had a long lightning delay. Then Melbourne Central Catholic came back and scored 21 unanswered. They scored they get the touchdown to go ahead, block a field goal at the end. Certainly kind of a trial by fire as far as they're concerned. A lot of those guys have never been anywhere near playoff
They're all
football. Yeah, so many young players in the team that really got to an opportunity to come of age and mature and face a pressure-packed environment, and they're going to have to do the same thing again this week against TFA. Their big weapon for the Royals is going to be Rawless Frazier. He's a running back. He's got 968 yards, 17 total touchdowns this year. Plays both sides of the ball. Kind of reminiscent of the stats that like an Enoch Carter has put up for New Smyrna Beach. That sort of player, a multi-dimensional weapon that they're really going to have to focus in on and find a way to stop.
I stared right into that light, and every time I close my eyes, all I can see is just a bright yellow. I can't even see what we're looking at right now. I'm blinded.
Just look at the people. Know that they're watching you right back.
So we both picked Lopez to win. I think Matt Canales and what he's done in the 3 years he's been there, taking a program that was in shambles when he arrived and really building it up to now. I mean, they've won 9 games this year. They've won a playoff game. They're in the second round for the first time in 30-plus years. I just feel like they're on a bit of a roll right now.
Yeah, you see steady, sustainable growth. They won 6 games last year,
and nobody talked about it.
Yeah, it was a fairly off the radar kind of 6 wins. The schedule wasn't necessarily all that difficult the last year, and I would say there were some challenges, there were some bumps in the road. Melbourne Central Catholic to me is certainly one of their signature wins.
That was an impressive win
of the year. And you look at the games they lost. They lost to a good Space Coast team, a good team out of Superior Collegiate from Clearwater. The record, you look at it, you don't see where they really messed up at any point of the year. The games they were supposed to win, they won. The swing games, they were they were up in the air. Maybe the Atlantic, maybe a few of the other games, they won. And they've managed to get over Melbourne Central Catholic, managed to get over the hump there and win that game as well. It's been an impressive season, win or lose on Friday, going into this game against the First Academy.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like maybe people don't look at Lopez a lot because maybe they don't do it quite as flashy, and
they have scored a whole bunch of points. And you look at their opponent, TFA averages almost 40 points a game as well. If I'm not mistaken, it's five separate occasions where Lopez has scored at least 40 this year. So you could see a lot of points and big plays in this game. Yeah. I'm interested to see what the weather does. If it's going to be cold, it's supposed to be in the 40s tomorrow night from what you were saying earlier. I was going to say,
you're not going to give me credit for that factoid I threw at you.
You brought that to me earlier. Yeah, it is going to be very cold.
Hope they have the heaters on the sideline. November football.
So you'll see how that plays into it. And the offensive line for Lopez has done a really solid job all year. Stephen Rearick, one of their seniors.
Right.
Rashane Gittins is back. They've got Katavion Scott has been an impact player there as well. Just a really solid job for that entire offensive line and opening holes for these young guys.
The battle of the two Christians, Trinity and Victory, going on in wherever Victory Christian calls home. I didn't do my research, so I have no idea.
It is Lakeland.
Lakeland.
Yes.
Wow. The armpit of Florida. Lakeland. That's what Ken Willis calls it. The armpit of Florida.
Why is that?
I don't know. It's in the middle of the state, kind of like the armpit. Kind of right.
We've offended anyone in Lakeland that is going to watch
No
this
one in
right
Lakeland's
now.
watching this. And I like Lakeland. It's a cool place. I was there with Trinity Christian a few years ago with the basketball team. But now the football team is back. and they're in the playoffs, and they got a huge win last week on the road, and now they really have a test in front of them.
Yeah, Lakeland Victory Christian's the number 1 seed, 9-1 during the regular season in 2A. Kind of coasted. The only game they lost this year was to Zephyr Hills Christian, who ended up taking the 3 seed.
Great water.
So the Storm, the last time these two teams played was back in 2015. They played in the opening round of the playoffs. Victory won 46-0. That was a game quarterbacked by Amori Archibald, who's now playing basketball at Louisiana Tech for Trinity Christian. This is a big ask for them to go on the road, play a team that's won a ton of big football games. Victory's been the number 1 team on several occasions in the AP poll this year. Trinity, again, we kind of harped on it last week how they finished the year, the number of tough teams in a row they played, and it really sharpened them going into the game against Oak Hall. That was a game after the second quarter that was really kind of a walk
They were
away.
in control of that game.
Yeah, they scored 28 unanswered to start the game. They won 35-7 going away against a program that hasn't been in the playoffs since 1979, an atmosphere that you wondered would it be too big for them. A lot of these guys are Trinity and haven't played a lot of playoff football either, and they handled it very well. This is the first time they've been into the second round since 2010. They haven't gotten to a region final or beyond. They haven't gotten to the third round of the playoffs since 2007. Whereas Victory, another player they're going to have to worry about stopping is going to be Jeremy Bird, the quarterback. They also have Cornelius Shaw, who's accounted for over 60% of the offense. That's the one player that Victory is really going to bring to the table. They're going to have to try to stop.
Trinity Christian, again, it's kind of a team that I don't think any of us saw coming this year. They had the coaching change, and they were so bad last year because they lost a lot of their team, including Archibald. And this year, and again, no matter what happens on Friday, that's a heck of a turnaround. I mean, them and Lopez both, it's been really two good surprises this year.
Yeah, they were 1-8 last year,
Yeah.
and they turned the ball over at a frightening rate. And the games that they've protected the football, Trinity's done just fine.
Right.
And it looks like they might have a new answer as far as the way their offense is going to look if it's indicative on the way they finished the game last week when Denzel Chapman played quarterback and threw 2 touchdowns. They had Jacob Millay, who's run for over 1,200 yards. They had him as more of your traditional running back. John Zavilla is more of your slot back. I think they're going to go something along those lines and have Chapman in there to give the, maybe the slightly more polished passer in addition to Millay as a runner.
You are going to be at the First Academy for the Father Lopez Showdown. I will be out at dinner with my wife.
Enjoy your Friday off.
Because Trinity Christian's out of town, and maybe Lopez can win. And is there any way they can be here next week, or are we done with local teams being at home?
The only way Father Lopez could be home next week would be if Holy Trinity Episcopal defeats the King's Academy. They are the 5 seed. Otherwise, they'll be going down to West Palm next week if they win.
Honestly, it doesn't matter because I'm off next Friday. I'll be out of town.
Louisville?
Anyway, so.
Going there?
I'm going on my official visit next Friday. Hopefully this isn't our last time seeing you. We have to go because I'm sweating from this sun ray on my cheek. I'm Zach Dean. This is Chris Boyle. We will see you Friday night.